Hello and welcome to this blizzard update. We're going to talk about the blizzard and enjoying the ground today because we finally got some ground. Finally able to walk around some parks today, and I did take advantage of it. The sun did come out late in the afternoon, like after 4 o'clock. This is at Mill Pond Park in Wantor, and you can see a lot of the snow gone from this park, but it will be covered 24 hours from now and for probably weeks to come with this blizzard on the way. So hopefully you got a chance to walk around today without seeing all the snow piles around. And we did actually get some melting on the lake too. This probably will refreeze eventually. Pretty swift water flow here on the lake here at Mill Pond, and you can see still ice. There's still ice, but you can see definitely some melting going on. Here's some open water here. So that's what we got. And we did like to have some breaks. The clouds kind of broke as they were breaking up. So at least we got some sunshine today. But we have a big storm coming. And this is going to be a historic winter storm potential here across the area. You can see stalled fronts over our area, and if we go to the larger satellite view, you can take a look at the energy that's going to come together with this storm. So could already see the low developing right here. So this is where your low pressure is going to develop. You can see the northern trough digging in and the southern stream all getting together and making this storm happen. So we'll first get the current conditions out. Obviously, we are under a blizzard warning through Sunday, through the first part of Monday. So we're going to actually display that blizzard warning first here. The blizzard warning is now in effect from 1 p.m. Sunday to 6 p.m. on Monday. 6 p.m. on Monday, because there's still going to be blowing snow. So that we have got that. We also got a coastal flood warning in effect for midnight Sunday night to 5 a.m. Monday. Temperatures are in the upper 30s right now. It was a pretty mild day. We got up to 47. Hard to believe we're going to get a blizzard tomorrow night, but and the low is 33, 37 right now. And of course, the alley, a lot warmer than that. It's 47 in the alley with laundry exhaust. So you can see around the blizzard warning, we got winter storm warnings. We'll display the highs on the screen today, and you can see highs got upper 40s to around 50 degrees. Upper 40s to around 50. Very nice and warm today, but unfortunately that is going to change. I know it's very misleading. Today was an above normal day, but that is very, very, very misleading. And the highs, again, 47, low 33, 6 degrees above normal. But that is going to change in a hurry. Strong nor'easter. We're going to go over the briefing here from the Weather Service. It's amazing. I'll give it to the GFS, man. The GFS actually nailed this storm for days on out, where the Euro failed, which is kind of interesting. Blizzard warnings expanded into northeastern New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, interior southern Connecticut, valid Sunday afternoon through Monday afternoon. Coastal flood warnings upgraded for most of the coast Sunday night and Monday a.m. high tide. Gale and storm warnings upgraded for Sunday evening and Monday afternoon. Blizzard conditions, heavy snow, high winds, and whiteout conditions expected to cause dangerous and possible travel across most of the local tri-state late Sunday into Monday afternoon. Strong to damaging wind gusts Sunday night and into Monday afternoon. Widespread moderate coastal flooding expected for Sunday night into early Monday morning high tide for much of the coast. Locally, major coastal impacts possible for the southern bays of western Long Island, Twin Forks, and North Shore of Long Island. Areas of dune erosion are likely, with local overwashes possible along the ocean beachfront Sunday night and the Monday morning. Gale to storm conditions and high seas are expected on all waters. This is going to be a historic storm that could be quite disastrous. Okay, so this is what they are predicting here. Total snowfall, 12 to 20 inches likely. Likely 2 feet. Possibly 2 feet possible. And yes, I'll be drawing the map for you here as well on what I think is going to happen after we look at the models. Snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour expected, with higher rates of 3 inch an hour possible. And I would think that thunder snow could be possible as well. Blizzard conditions for most of the area. Whiteout conditions with visibilities of less than a quarter of a mile, especially for the coast. That's the entire area. Snow develops Sunday morning and afternoon with only light accumulation, but then periods of heavy snow Sunday evening through Monday morning. Snow likely tapering late Monday morning into Monday afternoon. The strong and damaging winds. Northeast winds of 25 to 45 miles an hour with gusts to 45 to 60 miles an hour expected Sunday night and Monday afternoon. Highest wind gusts at the coast with gusts of 65 to 70 miles an hour possible for the east end of the Twin Forks of Long Island. That can result in scattered to numerous downed tree limbs and power outages possible due to strong winds and snow load. Entire area, all right, for that, again, that's the entire area. Winds increased region-wide Sunday evening, strongest winds midnight Sunday night into Monday afternoon. Winds decreased late Monday afternoon to the evening. Coastal impacts. Widespread moderate coastal flood likely Sunday night and Monday morning high tide. Localized major coastal impacts for the southern base of western Long Island, Twin Forks and North Shore of Long Island. Along oceanfront, Twin Forks and North Shore of Long Island, areas of dune erosion are likely with localized washovers possible where dunes are compromised. And that risk is from Sunday night into Monday morning. And then another round of minor to locally moderate coastal flooding is possible for southern and eastern bays of Long Island for the Monday afternoon high tide. All right? So these are some of the conditions that we're going to have to deal with. Heavy snow, blizzard conditions. The snow, total snow accumulation of 15 to 20 inches likely with 2 foot plus possible. Snowfall rates 2 inch an hour with 3 inch an hour possible late Sunday into Monday morning. The snow character, unfortunately, will be heavy and wet Sunday afternoon and evening, but it does get drier toward Monday morning. Temperatures low 30s Sunday p.m. dropping to the upper 20s Sunday night and Monday morning. And again, we went over those winds already. Blizzard conditions, all right? That is for the tri-state, including New York City, New Jersey metro. Far interior portions will see 10 to 18 inches of snow. So either way, this is going to be a bad storm here going over this briefing here. And this is their forecast, by the way. So it could be almost 20 inches of snow. And this is the high-end amount. There's a possibility we could see over 30 inches of snow. All right, that's the high-end amount. And that's the area where they have the peak winds. You can see the east end circled there, getting the worst of the winds. All right, and you can see this is the coastal flooding map. And there could be some significant coastal flooding with this storm. Think of it like a tropical storm or hurricane, but with snow. I guess that's a good way of putting it. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, looking at the weather map, you see the storm coming together. As we go into tomorrow, you'll see there it is, going up the coast there. All right. Looking at the radars, not a whole lot going on right now, but this is all going to change. So we'll first start with the GFS here, and just the northeastern view. Obviously, you've seen this a million times. Here's the storm coming together. It's into the evening tomorrow. Look at that really tight wound up. That is a 987 millibar low, and it's unbelievable how low. Is that 967 actually? So that's very deep. And you can see that heavy snow after midnight into Sunday morning. There's that heavy snow right there on the GFS, and you can see that really intense snow area. And we'll change this to the radar simulation here. Just to give you an idea here. Oh, that's not the radar one. There's the radar one. There it is. So this is the radar one. Kind of gives you a little bit of a higher resolution view. You can see when that heavy snow really starts getting going. It's later after midnight there, and you can see the heaviest snow seems to go over coastal New Jersey and Long Island. Okay, so that seems to be what the GFS is predicting, and we can look at the total snowfall accumulations on this. And this is the model that had it all along. Now, first of all, I'll show you the total liquid accumulation. Could be the GFS is dumping over 2 inches of liquid. So if you have a snowfall ratio of 1 to 10, that could get up to 2 feet of snow. All right. That is an incredible amount of energy, all right? Incredible amount, all right? Incredible amount. So that equates to its snowfall of, you can see the dark green there, closing in on 2 feet, right, according to the GFS. And there is just some insane FGen going on with this as well. We're going to look at this as well. Take a look at this insane FGen here. That is unfreaking believable. That's the 700 FGen right there. And then we have the 850 FGen as well. Though it doesn't look as crazy as on some of the other models here. So I don't know. It seems to be a little more diminished. But the other issue, of course, would be the winds. Yes, I know we're starting with the GFS and we have other models to look at. I want to make sure that they're all in. All right. We can look at the winds again. The GFS, the worst case scenario with the wind, obviously. It looks like it's shifted some of the stronger winds a little more off to the east, which I guess is sort of a saving grace on this particular run of the GFS. It takes it a little on the eastern side of the 40/70. So maybe it shifted a little bit off to the east, but that doesn't diminish the snowfall totals. It's only diminishing the wind aspect of it for western Long Island and New Jersey and New York City. But the east end is going to get slammed with hurricane force winds likely and quite a bit of power outages. So we'll go to the European now. This is the 18Z European model. And you can see the 18Z European. Again, it's fairly light through the day tomorrow. It might even be mixing over to start over Jersey. But that's when it gets heavier toward the evening. There we go. 10 o'clock. You start seeing that heavy snow over the Jersey Shore. And then dark blues early Monday morning over Long Island. Still a little bit, Europe still wants to go a little further east, which is interesting. Total accumulated precip on the European is not 2 inches. So it's like 1.5 inches. All right. So looking at that, you could see that we do still have variability in the two global models that we've got. Now we're going to take it over to the HRRR, which looked pretty scary on the last run. These are the first times I'm looking at the new runs of these models, by the way. So keep that in mind. So again, that snow starts. Again, it could be starting as mixed precipitation in the afternoon tomorrow, and it'll be fairly light. It really won't stick too much until we get toward the evening. Oh, and look at that. Is that sleet? All right. Well, it might start as a little sleet. I think once that storm gets going, it'll turn to heavy snow. We don't want sleet. We don't want any mixing. All right, because that made the last storm so much worse with that. But you can see that heavy snow getting going along the Jersey Shore around midnight or so. And then that moves up into Long Island. There's that low, and it's not a really quick mover. You can see even Monday morning, still dealing with this storm. Look at how tight those isobars are as well. And that storm look at it, almost stalls out for a little bit there Monday morning. So that would not be good. And you can see 971 millibar low. That is very low pressures. And you can see that dark blue still going over us. And then it goes to a lighter snow as you get toward later on Monday. But there's still going to be some accumulation going on. And the winds will still be going on until we get toward Monday evening. And that, finally, this run of the HRRR covers most of the storm. Let's take a look at that total snowfall amount and take a look at this. So, again, you see that 22 painted over Long Island, 15 over Connecticut, and looks like a 26 right over Toms River. So, yeah, that puts the heavier snow over the Jersey Shore. All right. And I don't think we get FGen with this. We don't get FGen, but we can look at the total accumulated precip, and I'm sure it's got, 2-inch plus amounts as well. So let's get the dew points and wind flow. I know it's kind of silly to look at this, but this is kind of just explaining to you why we're getting snow. Obviously, you see those dew points below freezing, and you can see that north wind gets going and pulls that really cold air. It pulls that cold air, and not really cold air, but certainly cold enough for snow. And that's why it might start out wet, but then I think it will get more powdery toward the morning hours. And that's when it's going to really start looking like a blizzard when the sun comes up. So you see tomorrow the temperatures may actually be above freezing, and it might not stick too much. But then as you get toward the evening, that's when the temperatures drop into the 20s, and we're going to have plenty of accumulation, no problems accumulating on roadways and everything else, with temperatures probably not breaking 30 on Monday, according to this model here. All right. Now let's go to the NAM model. And first, let's go to that FGen. Yeah, this shows the FGen real nice. So you can see that darker stuff comes in right around 9, 10 o'clock. That's your heavy FGen. A lot of lift in the atmosphere. Where you could get some thunder snow too, right up to midnight. Then it actually fades it out a little bit toward Monday morning. This is the NAM. All right. So let's take a look and see what this model is doing here. So again, that snow, get that light mixed precipitation starting. But the NAM actually starts at a rain and then switches over to heavy snow over the Jersey Shore earlier on. So the NAM's a little faster with the storm. gets the heavy snow going over Jersey probably 5, 6 o'clock, and moves it into our area more like 7 o'clock. So the NAM's definitely faster with it. And you can see that really heavy dark blue snow. There's your 2, 3-inch hour rates. And then another real heavy band comes over the island early in the morning. And take a look at those winds. Look at how close those isobars are. You're dealing with a 965 low. Just to put that in perspective, 960 millibars. 965 millibars. We'll do 965 millibars MB 2 inches of Hg, which is mercury, and that is 28.49 inches. That is the kind of reading you get in a hurricane or a tropical storm. So this is going to be a really deep low pressure system. And look at that. That is so impressive. So when we look at the total amount of liquid coming out of this, you can see, again, around 2 inches of liquid, all right, which would equate to close to 2 feet of snow. So we go to the total snowfall. You see, again, showing 15 inches maybe over Long Island, but then a sweet spot somewhere. Might happen over Jersey. It might happen over Long Island, where it could be close to 2 feet, all right? So that is what the NAM is showing. It's backed off a little bit on the crazy snowfall totals we were looking at earlier. So do I think it's going to go over 2 feet? I'm not so sure about that. All right, I'm not willing to bet on that just yet. All right, so that's the NAM. So we're going to go to the HDRPS next, and I probably don't have the full running of that. Yeah, only till 12Z Monday. So I was hoping we would have it, but you can see it's already over 15. We do have the 18Z, so we're going to have to just go with that. And you can see, again, higher amounts tend to be a little more east. The HDRPS tends to be a little bit more toward the east with these amounts. So looking at this, you can see, again, starts off rainy over Jersey, then transitions over to snow, and then heavy snow. And it seems like this one's also a little bit faster by 9, 10 o'clock. And look at that. We're really getting walloped with the band right around sometime after midnight. A really nice heavy band, mainly over Suffolk County, maybe a little bit over Nassau, kind of pivots back. And then another one right around 6 in the morning. Again, pivots back. And then it's finally slowly ending, but it still doesn't have the whole storm on here. It has most of it. And again, if you look at the total snowfall, you can see I think this might be just a little bit on the low side. All right, so kind of have to go in between the high and the low with these amounts, okay, with the snowfall amounts. All right, we do have one more model we can look at, the RGEM. And this is what the RGEM is showing. And again, not showing the 2-foot numbers, showing 10 over Long Island, 16 over the Jersey shore, and maybe because this one's a little bit further to the east, probably. Yeah, it takes the heavier snow just a little bit further to the east on this particular run. Yeah, a little bit further to the east, just a teeny weeny bit. And if we look at total accumulated precip again, your total. One thing is for sure, there is a silver lining in all this. That is two things. Actually, we'll show you those things toward the end of the video. That I'm going to talk about, but drought. This is going to really help our drought, which has been ongoing now for like a couple of years now. And it is because of the lack of snowfall. Snowfall actually is an important part of, people think it's just rainfall, but snowfall is also very important as well. And we'll talk about what things may look like after this is done. So let's go and look at, all right, so that pretty much covers the snowfall, I think, angle of it, but now we've got to talk about the wind angle of it. And for that, I'm going to use a different website, and that is, we'll go to Vent2Sky first. So we got to talk about the wind angle of it, and we're going to go and look at these wind gusts. This is using the HRRR model, all right? So 4 o'clock, all right, tomorrow. Winds aren't too bad, the 37, whatever. But as we get toward 9 o'clock, this is when the winds start to ramp up. Gusts to 47, gusts to 51 over on the Jersey Shore tomorrow. And then as we get toward 11 o'clock, you can see here's our storm right here. You can see offshore, you got winds gusting over hurricane force. Over Suffolk County and much of Long Island, we have winds gusting over 50 miles an hour, which again is going to cause some power outages, especially with that wet snow to start, and then it's going to get more powdery, and that's when it gets more powdery is when you're going to have that blowing snow and those classic blizzard conditions. But take a look at what happens as we get toward, this almost looks like a freaking hurricane. Look at that. Look at that. So you can see winds gusting offshore over hurricane force, And some of those winds will get in 1 a.m. All right, we're talking about winds 60 miles an hour, 50s into the 60s and 50s. Very strong winds. You're going to hear that wind howling through the night. It's going to be a sleepless night for a lot of people, including me. Even in this place, I think I'll hear the winds like that. I think are going to be pretty bad. 56, 57 miles an hour, 56. But you look at the east end, they're really taking it on the chin. Here we are at 5 in the morning. Gusts 74 miles an hour over hurricane force for the east end. And that's going to result in a lot of tree damage. And look at this. This is 70, 78 miles an hour, 75. Nassau at 60, but the east end, look at that, a gust to 81. This is the HRRR. Maybe it's a little overdone, but I'm a little concerned about this, all right? You have to prepare for hurricane force winds, especially eastern Long Island. I think this area, eastern Long Island, anything from the William Floyd east is going to be in the brunt of those strong winds. At 7 a.m., 9 a.m., we're still dealing with the strong winds over Long Island. Gusts 61 miles an hour over Suffolk County, gusts 75. As we get toward 11, the storm is just moving so slow. The poor east end is still being lashed with hurricane force winds at 11 a.m. Finally starting to go to like 50 to 60 miles an hour over Nassau County. And then as we make it to 2 o'clock, finally we start seeing the winds. The winds are still going gusting to 50 over Nassau. Suffolk is still dealing with winds over 70, gusting over 70 miles an hour. And then as we get toward 5 o'clock, the winds finally start to subside to around 60 on the east end, and we're finally starting to see gusts quiet into the 40s. But that's why that blizzard warning goes till 6 p.m. into the evening, because we're still dealing with these winds and blowing snow. And finally, you start seeing the winds die down a little more over New Jersey, and then by 9 o'clock, we start seeing the winds die down in more areas. But this is going to, I think we're going to have at least 100,000 people lose power, and perhaps even more. I think the hardest hit will be the east end of Long Island with that. For sure, is going to be significant. That's a lot of wind, and my concern is the power goes out. You've got a lot of snow on the roads. Don't count on getting that power back quickly. They're saying, well, we're going to restore power quickly, but they can in those kind of blizzard conditions. The power is going to be out. Prepared to be without power for up to 2 days, I would say. I hope I'm not one of those people, but we'll have to see what happens. Just prepare, especially if you're further east, obviously. So this is the Vent2 Sky, the HRRR model that we are looking at here with the winds. It's certainly a very frightening scenario. We can go to the GFS, which is still pretty bad. It's almost just like the HRRR, pretty much. Looks just like it. Look at these winds here. So 70, this is going to be incredible to see. 82, 45, look at 82 mile an hour wind gust over the east end. That is incredible. We haven't seen winds this strong since Isaias, perhaps, if this verifies. So that's the GFS on the winds. Do have the Euro too. This shows the Euro as well. The Euro, the worst of the winds stay away. So the Euro keeps the worst of the winds confined to the east end and just offshore. All right, pretty much that's where the worst of the winds would stay if the Euro was right. Right, you can see some of those really strong winds that we have to watch out for. Still close, very close, even on the Euro. I think that's all the models that are featured here. We do have the Icon as well, which also is pretty bad as well. So is the Icon as well. So these are all very, very bad. And that's why we have that blizzard warning, though. I'm surprised they don't have a high wind warning, but I guess blizzard warning takes care of all that. But I have a high wind warning. This is a particularly dangerous storm. And look at offshore. I mean, look at some of these insane gusts that we're going to have. It's going to be absolutely crazy, this storm. All right, we're going to go back to automatic, and I want to hit the thunderstorms and see. Well, actually, I'll use windy for that. Let's go to the ocean now. All right, I think this uses a different kind of model here for the ocean, but you'll see the kind of things that we're going to be dealing with here Monday morning. 10, 13 feet waves have really come up a lot. Like offshore, you're going to have 20 footers, and this is incredible. So it's going to be like getting a hurricane with snow. I guess that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. It's like a hurricane with snow. Say Snowicane, basically. All right? So that's what it's like. Now, we are going to go to windy.com, and go to this. This we've already looked at what the Euro has. We're going to take a look at this output on here as well. This is the European, again, keeping the worst of that wind offshore, just offshore, and clipping the east end there. The European continues to do this to keep that worst of that wind away. But honestly, the European has had this storm, has been off track on this storm for a while. It's kind of hard for me to really kind of think that it's going to stay away. NAM, look at the NAM. Now, the NAM obviously is the most insane of them all. But you can see here, as we get into Sunday, 8 p.m., you see the winds already getting, the NAM's a little faster. You can see by 11 o'clock, we've got winds gusting over 50 in the Jersey Shore, 50s on Long Island. Take a look at some of these gusts offshore, 90 miles an hour. I don't know if that's going to verify, but the east end is really going to see those hurricane force plus winds in Suffolk County as well. And take a look at this. I mean, this storm, just incredible wind speeds. I really hope and pray this wind speed does not verify, because this would be very, very disastrous. Very, very disastrous. That's all I got to say. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go back to the auto, which would be the European. Obviously, European looks so much better. I wish it would verify. It would be definitely less wind, but we're going to do the new snow on the European, all right, even though I think it's underdone. It only has a foot or to 14 inches. I think it's a little underdone, all right. There's also a thunderstorm thing. So let's take a look at this and see if this would predict any thunder snow. I think we could see thunder snow. I honestly think we could with those kind of conditions and such a very strong low pressure. I think that's entirely possible that we could see thunder snow. We'll look at the waves on this as well. And the seas, again, just really crazy. You can see here 5 in the morning on Monday. Seas 20 foot. 10 foot. This is going to cause substantial beach erosion to Fire Island. Really, I think Fire Island should be evacuated. And they're probably not evacuating it, but they should, because you're going to probably have no power. You're going to have a lot of beach erosion and flooding. And the bay's iced up, so the ferries can't run. And the roads will be blocked. So people are going to be trapped there for days. And I'm really surprised that they haven't evacuated it. You can see those waters. It's going to take a while for that to come down. So this storm pretty much throwing everything it's got at us. All right. And this is going to be a major, major disaster. So let's take a look at what I'm calling for right now. Pause the video briefly. I'm going to pause that and work on the snowfall map. Okay, so here we go with the snowfall forecast for you. Let's put this on the screen here. This is what I have. Put this larger here. And pretty much this is what I have to go with. I'm generally thinking 15 to 20 inches across much of Suffolk County and to the Jersey Shore. But locally, there could be spots that get to 2 feet. I don't think it goes over 2 feet. I really don't. I really think that might be a little overdone. All right, so I kind of have to go in between the low and the high end at this point. For Nassau County and maybe parts of Western Suffolk, 10 to 15. And the 10-inch is going to be more like the Bronx, all right? I think we're going to be closer to the 15-inch, all right? So think of it like 10 on this side, 15 on the other. So I think we're going to be closer to like 15 inches in much of Nassau County, all right? Though it could go higher, all right? It's hard to say, all right? And that goes into parts of central New Jersey, interior central New Jersey, say west of Toms River, all right? But Toms River itself is going to be in that 15 to 20, locally 2 feet. And then as you go north and west in New York City, that's where I think it's going to be more like 5 to 10 inches, all right? That 10 inches is going to be more like Bergen County. That 5 inches is going to be more like maybe past Sussex County in New Jersey, all right? So that's what I'm thinking with snowfall. So I know this is going to be a big dump of snow. I'm not so much scared of the snow. I'm scared of the wind, because that's going to cause a lot of damage. The snow, obviously, is going to be a heavy snowfall and obviously inconvenience a lot of people, especially because people don't do their effing job and clear the sidewalk like they're supposed to. And after this storm, I'm going to give them 3 days. We're going to start listing addresses of places that don't shovel. If you have a home and you don't shovel your sidewalk, your address is going to be listed. All right, I'll give you 3 days to do it. All right, after the storm, I think it's pretty generous. If you have a business and you don't shovel, same deal. Your address is going to be put up. So that's it. I know I've risked privacy violations, but honestly, it's the only way to shame people into shoveling their sidewalks. and that's what we're going to have to do. And that includes bus stops, too. So we'll talk about that in another video, obviously. But that's what I'm thinking right now, all right? So let's now go and look at the reward that we have for all this snow. The wind, obviously, is going to be horrible. But I'm going to take you back to last time we had a snowy winter. This was after the spring. It was April after that snowy winter. This is a spot in Brookhaven State Park that hasn't had water in the lake for a long, long time. So all that snowfall is important for the lakes and the pine barrens and the environment. And the reason why we're in this drought is because of the lack of snowfall. The snowfall is very important. It provides a lot of water for these lakes. So keep that in mind. All right? So even though we're going to have to suffer with a lot of snow, the reward is once this all melts, our lakes in the Pine Barrens should be very nice and full like this, which we haven't seen in like almost 10 years. I think that's the last time we had a blizzard warning. So we need a lot of snow to make this happen. That's the only way it's going to happen. The wind, I really don't want the wind. All right, but the snow, there's a silver lining to the snow. The wind, there is no silver lining to it, but there is a silver lining to the snowfall. So I really hope we're spared the worst of the wind. That's if I have to ask for anything, that is what I'll ask for. So that is it. Thank you for watching, and we'll keep you updated on the storm. And be safe and pray that we don't get those crazy winds.